Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Plan with Eva from Instagram. Thank you so much for watching today. This week I'm going to be planning the week of the 1st to the 7th, and I am using this beautiful kit from ChicBlossomPrints. I believe this is my first kit that I've ever used from her. I don't think I've shopped from her before, but when I saw this kit I just loved how the kind of emerald looking green with the normal green and the black accented each other, and the whole kit was in silver, which you guys know I always love using silver in my kits, so I just really loved how this spread turned out, and I hope you guys enjoy. I'm gonna go ahead and let the base play out, and I'll come back with you guys to talk about more of my daily plans. on to my daily plans. This whole week I did a lot of things with my car, so you're going to be noticing a lot of that. For the sidebar this week, I also put that little half box there because I wanted to mark the biggest highlight, which was getting a lot of the things done for my car. The week before this, if you guys watched my last video, you guys will know that my car was dead for a long time because of the cold weather and just because my car's battery was really sucky and needed to be changed. So finally, since I got it working, I decided to tackle everything else that needed to be done for my car, which was a really expensive week, but everything needed to be done and was overdue. So for Monday, I ended up going to AutoZone to get my battery changed. After that, I ended up going to Jiffy Lube to get my brake pads changed. And this was one of the most terrifying days of my life, I think. I went to Jiffy Lube and they told me that it was going to take a while, and by that point it was about maybe lunchtime, I think, or supper time, and I was just starving, and I saw from the window of the Jiffy Lube that there was a Burger King nearby. So my starving self decided that it would be worth the walk and my getting over my anxiety to go to get food, since I think I had to wait either an hour and a half or 2 hours, was what they said. So I really didn't want to go because I saw the Burger King and I knew that it was next to a gas station, and for me, I have a lot of anxiety when I don't have the thing where you're scared to go outside, but just like being a very cautious and paranoid person, I get very anxious at unfamiliar surroundings. So having to walk 2 blocks to the gas station was already giving me a lot of anxiety, but because there was so much time to kill and I was starving, I just figured I'm just gonna muscle up the courage and I'll go, and lo and behold, it ended up being like the most terrifying moment of my life. I ended up going to Burger King, which was fine, and I ended up eating there. I asked them if it was okay to eat since I didn't see anybody else around and I saw some tables that were open. They said it was fine, so I ended up sitting at a corner table where I could see everybody else that was in the restaurant as they came in and out. And I finished my food and it was no problem. It was probably the fastest I've ever eaten because I was already getting really anxious as I was sitting there, even taking off my mask just to eat. And even though I wasn't close to anybody, I was just feeling a lot of anxiety just being, like I said, in an unfamiliar place. So I finished eating, and like I said before, the time was just like I still had so much time left, so I figured there's a Dunkin' Donuts right next door that's attached to the gas station, so I would just go in there, get something to drink, and then head back to the Jiffy Lube, and that would just help me to kill some time because thinking of just sitting at the Jiffy Lube for that long of a time with nothing to do, that was also something that was like weighing on me. So I went to go get the Dunkin' Donuts, and as I was waiting in line, there was just this guy that kept looking at me and was just really making me really anxious from the way he was looking at me. And he came up to talk to me, and he just kept asking me if I was married, if I was there with somebody, and if he could get with me. And I told him that I was married, and like, I'm not married, but I told him that I was, hoping that that would kind of get him away. And I always remember in these kind of situations, which I've never had this kind of situation happen to me before, but I always try to remember what MyFavoriteMurder says, which is to always just fuck politeness and just do what you have to do. But in that moment, I was just so terrified that I was scared if I did anything that it could trigger him, and who knows what he's gonna do to me, because at this point I'm still thinking I still need to walk 2 blocks from where I am right now to the Jiffy Lube, and that terrified me. So I gave him really short answers and tried not to talk to him and look at him. I just kept trying to look at my phone, my menu, and I was just trying to kind of give eyes to even the workers that were working there. But being a gas station, there really weren't that many people, and luckily there was another customer there, but he was in front of me and he was ordering, so I don't think anyone would have noticed if it was just me talking to some other person, you know. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling. I feel like I'm like putting myself in that situation all over again, and I'm getting all frazzled again, just like he was making me feel. But he basically, after the 3rd question probably, he left and I couldn't see him, and that was making me really nervous. So then I just tried to keep looking behind me, and by that time it was time for me to order, so then I placed my order. But then when I was there, he came back into the gas station / Dunkin' Donuts that was together, and he started waiting in line behind me. So I was like, okay, maybe he's just trying to wait for an order, and he's trying to just order. So I tried to get it out of my mind, and I was just making my order, and then I stood to the side where people are to pick up. He does not order, and if you guys notice your peripherals, you always can kind of tell when someone's facing your direction. I had a feeling that he was facing my direction, so I kind of just turned a little bit more just to make sure that I'm not crazy, because sometimes maybe I am, and he was looking in my direction, and that kind of, I think that opened something for him to talk to me again. And he asked me the same questions that he asked before. Can I get your number? Are you married? Can I get with you? And I answered him curtly and said, no, I'm married, no, and was hoping that that was the end of the conversation. He started mumbling under his breath. I wasn't sure what it was, because at that point my drink was done, so I was going to get the drink, and at that point I wasn't sure what to do. He started leaving the store again, so then I, being as anxious and nervous and scared as I was, I just stayed in the gas station, and was just pretending to look around, because I was just nervous. If he's outside, then I don't want him following me to the Jiffy Lube, because that's 2 blocks that I would still need to walk by myself. I walked around for maybe a minute. It felt like, honestly, like 5-10 minutes at the point, and I felt like I was like loitering at the store. So I was going closer to the door to see if I could see him and outside surroundings. There were a lot of cars outside, and it was a super busy street, but when I went there, the way the gas station is set up, there's a little hall area where one side is the gas station, and if you go to the left, then that's where the Burger King is. And when I got closer, I saw him standing outside the Burger King, and there was a moment when we locked eyes, so I quickly turned around and I just went back to the gas station, and I tried to just kind of pretend I was still shopping around. I was super terrified at this point, because we locked eyes, and I was scared that he knew that I was kind of looking for him. And I started looking around for a couple more seconds, and after a couple seconds, lo and behold, he started walking into the gas station again, and he was starting to look around at stuff, and he tried to talk to me again one more time. This time he called me out and was like, you're lying, just give me your number. And I didn't know what to do. I just told him, no, I'm not lying, I'm married, and I was just kind of hoping that he would leave me alone. And after a while, I don't know what it was, but he ended up leaving the store, and he was mumbling something under his breath. But I was still terrified, and I continued to look around the gas station just because that was all I could do. And in my head, I was thinking maybe I should ask these employees to just walk into Jiffy Lube. If it was a normal situation, I probably would have, but because of how the gas station and Dunkin' Donuts was kind of linked up, if one person leaves, no one else would be left in the store, so that wasn't really an option for me. So there was really nothing I could do but wait. So I ended up waiting there probably for a minute or 2 more, even though it felt like hours. And when I saw another customer leave, I was just like, maybe I'll just take this opportunity. I'll follow behind this guy. He's gonna go back to his car, and then I'll try to walk as fast as I can to the Jiffy Lube. And those 2 blocks was like the longest 2 blocks I've ever felt in my life. And I just walked as fast as I could to the Jiffy Lube, and it was like 2 long city blocks, and there was a red light right in the middle, so I had to wait. But I was just turning around the whole time and kept trying to walk and turn my head from side to side to make sure that I wasn't being followed, because I had no idea where this guy went. And that was the end of my fiasco. But I ended up being at Jiffy Lube for still whatever time they needed to fix my brake pads, but at least I felt like I was in a secure place, and he wouldn't be able to like hunt me down without someone else finding out, at least. Because the gas station, it really didn't feel like it was that safe, since everybody else was kind of behind the counters. And that took up my mind for a lot of this week. I was so terrified. I was just texting and trying to text everybody that I knew just to let them know where I was, because I was by myself, and everybody has work, so I couldn't have someone going with me. But I was just terrified, and I didn't know what I was going to be doing. I didn't know what my options were. But moving on from that, I was still able to do my workout for this day, and I have been doing pretty well and trying to be consistent with it, at least 3 to 4 times a week. If not, I try to do as much as I can. And this day I was able to do a 25-minute workout, and then I ended up doing a 35-minute workout the next day on Tuesday. I also called the groomer because my dog was needing a haircut for a really long time, so I ended up doing that on Wednesday. I had therapy like I usually do on Wednesdays, and at the bottom of Tuesday, when you see the full spread, you'll see. But I marked that I filmed the TSKP week 8 base, which was really nice. And when you see the close-up shots, you'll see that I end up using some dangly bits, which right now I'm forgetting where they're from. I think they're from Sadie Stickers, but I ended up using them, cutting them, and kind of adjusting them to dangle over the filming half box that's there to make it look really nice. Moving on to Thursday, not much has happened. I just did my workout, which was really nice, and I was able to do laundry and clean the main shower, which was nice because I just don't get to do it too often, and it really needs it. And the end of the night, it was just really upsetting, which is why I'm using this kind of screaming emoticon from the Coffee Monsters Co. Because I am Chinese, and my in-laws, they've been pretty difficult in terms of our wedding, and they are very superstitious about dates when you should be married and things like that. So I found out that this day we were trying to tell them that March we really wanted to get married, and we were asking them what the good dates, quote unquote good dates, are considered, and she ended up giving us like 3 different days, and we were like, well, I was like really baffled by it, but yeah, that was upsetting to hear about, and we're still trying to figure it out as we speak right now, and it's the end of March right now. It's been really frustrating because I'm not even caring about a big party at this point. I'm just kind of trying to get the paperwork done just so we can be legally married, and we are doing our taxes and all of that together, and that's like a really long journey as it is. I'm just looking back, and there's just a lot of things that have happened this week that I did not realize happened so close together, which might have made my emotions very high for my therapist the next couple weeks. But this Friday was the last episode of WandaVision, so we ended up finishing that. And this day we also found out that one of the people in our classroom was being moved, which was really upsetting to hear about. It's a common thing in CPS to be moved around, but there was just a lot of miscommunication that was happening that made me feel really kind of undervalued as a teacher, and as a teacher you're already undervalued and never feel appreciated, so it was just really upsetting to deal with. But I ended up the night painting my nails, as well as having some K-pop sessions, and usually that just means I listen to the K-pop songs that have been released lately. Moving on to Saturday, I ended up doing my workout, and I was able to plan in my TSKP. And this day was funny because I was walking my dog in the morning, and my cousin lives really close to my house. When we walked to the corner of our block, I was walking my dog, and he kind of just stood there, and usually he does that when there's a lot of trucks and he hears loud noises, but that day there wasn't anything, so I didn't know why he was stopping. So usually when he does that, I kind of just give his leash a little tug, and usually he follows along, or I say let's go, and he usually follows along. But for some reason he just stood by the corner and waited, and I looked up and I was like, what are the chances that my cousin's like pulling out of her driveway? And lo and behold, she was pulling out of her driveway, and I thought it was just crazy. So he ended up going to say hi to her, and we just ended up staying for a little bit to chat with her, and we parted ways. But that was really, really interesting that he was able to do that, because I really do believe that dogs have some kind of sixth sense that they like know some people are approaching them, even though they're like so far away. This day we actually went to the same cousin's house, and we ended up just having some drinks and eating some seafood boil, which was delicious. I have missed it so much. That's like one of the biggest thing about the pandemic that I miss so much, is eating good food. And now you're kind of you just need to get takeout food, which is great, but sometimes it's just not the same quality as it is if you're getting it served right then and there, you know. So we were able to eat some seafood boil, which was delicious, and drink some new drinks, which was really good. And then the last thing on Sunday was, on Monday I also had the opportunity to call Costco to tell them that I wanted to change my tires, because that was kind of the last thing that my car really needed done. The tires were getting really old, and one of them was actually like dried and cracked, and I didn't know if it was from the weather or if it was just from over time that it happened like that. So in the morning I ended up changing them at Costco. Like I said, this whole week was just kind of a money burner, but at the end of the night, we were able to get some takeout. My friends came over to watch something with my fiance, and someone brought Krispy Kreme, which I love. And while they were doing that, I was just finishing up a hospital playlist, which, like I told you guys, if you guys watched my last video, I thought it was just okay. I did end up liking it. I think I would end up rating it probably a solid 8, but I really love the characters. I just really didn't expect it to also leave on a cliffhanger, which I always hate, but they ended with a cliffhanger, and apparently they're coming out with a second one, so I do look forward to it. But I wouldn't recommend it as like the top thing to watch if you're interested in watching a K-drama. Or at least it's not my kind of taste, because I'm more of the cheesy, romantic, quick to romance kind of dramas, versus this one was kind of more homey and kind of more family friendly. And that'll be all for my crazy week. I loved how this week turned out. I didn't think I had so much green items in my extra sticker stash, but I really enjoyed just trying to find all my green stickers, which I had a decent amount of in my actual stickers books. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this play out, and I'll see you guys at the end of the video with the close-ups. Here is the full spread with all its beautiful silver goodness, and here's my little cut to it with everything written out. And yes, I know I did it with 2 hands and then it came out with 1 hand. I completely looked at it wrong and messed up, but I hope you guys enjoyed the spread anyway. I really loved my nails along with this whole spread as well. I'm going to be enjoying doing the rest of the month in so much green, so I hope you guys come back for the next video to enjoy it as well. And I love how that Tuesday box looks with the film. If you guys are interested, follow me on Plan With Eva on Instagram so you can see all of these close-up pictures. I'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you so much again, and bye.